I absolutely loved PSO2. I actually got into the franchise back in 2006 with Phantasy Star Universe, the one with Ethan. I was so enthralled with that game that I actually went back and started playing earlier titles, which led me to beginning PSO2 back in 2017 or 2018 using the PSO2 tweaker. But just because I enjoyed PSO2 and the world of PSO2, including New Genesis, does not mean that it is still enjoyable in 2024. It doesn't mean that currently it has any semblance of content cadence that would warrant playing. In all honesty, it might not even be receiving updates, which is where we come in today. I played PSO2 when it released. I played PSO2 New Genesis when it released. I've covered both games every single year since they released, beginning with PSO2 back in 2018. And I could definitely do another video on it again, stating why it is still pretty much the same content barren game it has been for as long as I've been playing it. But I think that would be a waste of your time and mine. What I want to do is talk about what the game has done in the last year and where it's currently going, because it might not survive into 2025. More and more MMOs are shutting down year after year, and who knows which game is going to be next. Before we delve into PSO2 New Genesis, however, allow me to thank my incredible patrons over on Patreon. Your guys' support is why I can make videos like this every single month, and I deeply appreciate y'all being there for me. I want to get a gauge of how PSO2 New Genesis is doing in 2024 by looking at player numbers, engagement, the community. With this in mind, I decided to go on over to social media to get a rough estimate of community size and activity. My first stop was Steam. There was a 59,558 player peak 3 years ago with a 24-hour peak of 2,256. This is very low for an MMO, but thankfully Steam isn't the only platform that PSO2 New Genesis is available on. Not only is New Genesis available on Steam, but it's playable on PC via the Epic Games Store, the Microsoft Store, and on the PS4 and Xbox One. Theoretically, the total number of players could be doubled, potentially tripled, or more for every additional platform. 2,250 concurrent players means that likely tens of thousands of total players play every single month. Adding the Microsoft Store and the Epic Games Store into the equation, we can likely double that to roughly 4,500 concurrent players. Console players no doubt account for a large portion of the game, meaning that we likely have upwards of tens of thousands of concurrent players logged in at any given time, and several times that for the total pool of players. This alone is proof that the game is far from dead, and is honestly doing better than the vast majority of other MMOs, and we've barely even started. Next, I proceeded to check Twitter to get a gauge of how frequently the team engages with their community. Honestly, every tweet they make seems to get several hundred likes and retweets, with new tweets being made seemingly every single day, if not every week. It was refreshing to see that they're not just like small updates or maintenance announcements either. Heading over to Facebook, it seems as though there is only a single central PSO2 page, which is as active as the Twitter page is, surprisingly receiving less in terms of likes, but still attaining hundreds of interactions per post. My next stop was Reddit, to see how many total members there are and how many people are actively present during peak hours. 20 people online during peak hours, but seemingly dozens of Reddit threads were made per day, which genuinely surprised me. I've looked at a lot of MMO subreddits recently, and with the exception of the larger games, they're all relatively dead. That is not the case with this New Genesis subreddit. Everywhere I've looked, PSO2 New Genesis seems to be thriving in terms of activity and community engagement. But let's go ahead here and take a look at their website. See the content cadence, events, updates. A game with no updates is a game in maintenance mode after all. And speaking of, when visiting the website for the very first time, you're required to enter your date of birth, which means that this website features some mature themes. But let's go ahead here and start by going back 12 months to May 2023. Looking at the official website, they sure do post a lot of updates, but there are also a significant number of known issues and maintenance posts, so we'll be disregarding those in an effort to remain a little more concise. We'll be focusing on updates and events. New Genesis 2nd Anniversary Campaigns Part 1, New Genesis 2nd Anniversary Story Completion Campaign, New Genesis 2nd Anniversary Campaigns Part 2, New Genesis 2nd Anniversary Campaign Part 3. Holy crap! That is actually quite a bit. I've covered 8 MMOs in the last 2 months, and none had remotely close to this much going on. June had 4 normal updates, a lot of cash shop events, and the New Genesis version 2 release celebration campaign, and Sonic's birthday celebration. July features one major update split amongst 4 smaller updates, along with updates to the PSO2 11th anniversary site. August is the same as July, with one major update split between 4 smaller ones, including the Team Up campaign and the Uncle from Another World collab. September featured a major update split between 3 smaller patches and included 3 events: the Gear Up Your Class Special Campaign Part 1, Oshinoko collab campaign, and the Call to Arms campaign. October featured a large update split between 4 smaller updates, including the Gear Up Your Class Special Campaign Part 2 and the Spriggan collab events. November featured a large update split between 5 smaller updates, the most yet, including the Rare Drop 100% campaign, Limited Time Movie Concerts Phantasy Star Remix event, Frame Arms Girl collab, and New Genesis Black Friday special sale. December featured a massive update split between 4 smaller updates, including the Beginner and Returning Player Support campaign, the Super Genesis Festival New Genesis 2.5 Anniversary Campaign Part 1. That is quite the title for a campaign. Another Call to Arms campaign, the Black Lagoon collab. And dude, I loved the Black Lagoon anime when I watched it like 20 years ago. And Super Genesis Festival New Genesis 2.5 Anniversary Campaign Part 2. Again, a lot happened in December. January features a large update split between 3 smaller updates, including the Super Genesis Festival New Genesis 2.5 Anniversary Campaign Part 3 and the Call to Arms campaign, a much slower month. February features a large update split amongst 4 smaller updates, including the Niji Sanji Collab Campaign Part 2 event and what seems like a dozen scratch ticket updates. I mean, you gotta earn your money somehow. March features a big update split between 4 smaller updates, including the PSO2 Global 4th Anniversary Login Gift event. Oh my god, they love their titles. I'll give them that. Yeah, and a whole lot of other scratch ticket updates as well, though. I don't know, the last few months haven't really seemed too great in terms of new events, but at least new content seems to be coming from the monthly updates. April features a large update split between 4 smaller updates. And wait, hold on, is that Kenshin? Holy crap. Yeah, that is pretty sick. I grew up on Kenshin. The Batosai. The events include the Rurouni Kenshin anime collab, which is probably the coolest collab so far, and one of the coolest collabs I've seen an MMO have ever. Gear Up Your Class Special Campaign, and Halfa's Super Origin Festival Countdown campaign. And here we are in May 2024. We have a big update coming, split across what is likely 4 smaller updates, and some events scattered throughout the month. Honestly, holy crap, I never expected PSO2 New Genesis to have as much work done on it as there is, while simultaneously, and this is where it gets weird, simultaneously feeling like there is very little still in terms of things to do. I am genuinely surprised, but at least it is still fairly active in terms of its content cadence, which is more than I can say about pretty much every other MMO that I've covered this year. PSO2 New Genesis is absolutely not what you expect it to be in 2024. It somehow remained exactly the same as it has been. It hasn't turned into a largely successful game, but at the same time, it hasn't failed utterly. It's still like just there. Now, if PSO2 New Genesis is not an MMO you're at all interested in, though, absolutely no problem. I got you covered for 2 different videos on screen right now. Might be more up your alley.